Well, hello and welcome back to another video of the F122 Driver Career Mode with McLaren Porsche, episode number 64 today for the Belgian Grand Prix. If you missed the previous episode, I recommend go and check that out because you won't have seen our teammate got changed as well and is on screen now. His plans have decided that he's only going to be here for half the season, the remaining 8 races. Now, if you also missed that previous episode, then you wouldn't have missed the fact we were raced around with an 70, it was 80% at the end, gearbox. So we're going to put an ultimate gearbox durability upgrade on the car. But yes, coming into this one then, Sainz has closed the gap to 12 points in the championship. Obviously, Piastri no longer with us, so his impact isn't going to happen. We are going to have a wet qualifying at the end of qualifying, so that's definitely going to be interesting. And TAURI, wow. I mean, if you look where they were in Canada, they were the 3rd worst team on the grid, and now they're the 3rd best. That is a huge rise up the grid. They're clearly investing in the team. Obviously, they're different to Red Bull, because recall they got a different engine to Red Bull, something that they could continue with in the future. Should it benefit TAURI, but obviously they're sort of the second team rather than the junior team in this series, thanks to their driver lineup of Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly, very experienced driver lineup in season 4. But anyway, to qualifying, and well, the rain came a lot earlier. I mean, we're doing our fastest lap now, and it's already, you can see the droplets on screen already. DRS is still enabled. Dry is as fast as I did ask Mark, what is he thinking of with the weather forecast, and of course he's been checking the BBC. But anyway, look at the speed: 215, 16, 17, 18. Alfa Romeo out the way. Jesus Christ, you're on the racing line, and I'm doing over 200 mile an hour in, getting wetter conditions. That is a little bit dangerous, but don't think you'd ever see that in real life. You know, if he's come out the pits, if you're not on your qualifying lane, you should ideally stay off the racing line as where possible. Obviously, it's not possible when you halfway through a corner to get out of the way, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't be blocking like that. But anyway, I'm going to carry on this lap because obviously we've now reached the end of the middle sector, where I'm set purple middle sector, even though I'm useless against the AI through that middle sector. And then we're going to come through the final sector, the first and final sector. This is the same setup I've been using since season 2 of career mode, the one where we get 225 mile an hour on the Camel Straight. The biblical speed. I don't think we're going to quite get that. Obviously, lower ERS deployment mode for qualifying. And I cut up to the line. Bottas says that we're going to annihilate Bottas' time of 43.5 as well. And then Carlos Sainz. Ferrari have done it again. They left him out at the last moment, and you can see the rain is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And Sainz, although he's had such a good season, it's only going to be P14 for him. So that's a huge contrast between myself. Ricciardo on the front row as well. So, you know, although the top 5 are sort of teams you recognise, we've got both Hasses in the top 10. Bottas is 8th again. We've got both AlphaTauris, as I say, not quite showing their 3rd fastest position on the grid. Hamilton down the order as well. So both Alpines, 15th and 16th. So a lot of people out of position. So this is going to be interesting for the Grand Prix. So we'll have to wait. It's time for the race.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019 Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of them to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Phoenix lines up on pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher, Gasly, Bottas, Latifi and Kevin Magnussen, Tsunoda, Zhou, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Norris, Ocon, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Robert Schwartzman, Albon and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Phoenix. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
I can get another race win here. I have the pace, especially down the Camel Straight. It's a dry race, so race strategy would be a one stop from soft to medium. 5 laps on soft, 6 laps on mediums will take us to the end of this Grand Prix. As vibrant lights then to the Belgian Grand Prix, and away we go. And it's an okay start, to be fair. I mean, it's probably one of the better starts on this game. We're still leading going down the inside to turn 1. Leclerc, to be fair now, and Ricciardo both going side by side down the hill towards Eau Rouge. But Ricciardo's able to keep ahead of Leclerc there as well. And now Leclerc, though, is on the Camel Straight. I see he's topping out with the Aston Martin engine. Has had problems, but Red Bull obviously have made upgrades to that engine to obviously regain some of that performance back that they lost, but obviously it's not enough there. Leclerc has to stay behind. Lando Norris, though, he was down the order and he's already made a couple of positions. He's jumped Sainz on the start, and now he's passed Zhou as well. So Norris is having a great start. Sainz going backwards a bit as well. As we jump to lap 2. And just watch this. 6/10 to Ricciardo at the start of the Camel Straight. And then we're just going to open the tabs, the ERS, because we've got ultimate upgrades. And that's a 1.2 second gap. That's how you get outside of DRS. Well, Carlos Sainz is now stuck behind Latifi in P16. So he's gone backwards, Sainz, not having a great race. This could be a race that he loses the championship in. You know, we are getting to that point in the season where every point matters, as well as Norris goes past Schumacher, and I think that's Norris almost into the points there. Schumacher comes back, but the Haas isn't quite as good as the Alpine. Although, to be fair, Schumacher is having a great season, multiple points scored, and I think he's in the points again. So yes, for us top 6, because we got Verstappen as well. He started down the order, he's coming back, so the 2 Alpha Tauris as well. There's a mixture, that lot of sort of coming in as well. And then you've got I think Norris and Schumacher running the top 10. Anyway, 2.5 seconds stop, not bad. As well, we're chilling basically in this race. To be honest, there's not a lot of action going on. Bottas is going to come out behind us, and I think everyone else is going to come out behind him. So we have a look at Schumacher. We go deep into the bus stop, narrowly missing Schumacher's rear end, but we do able to keep the position. And Ricciardo has no answer. We set a purple middle sector on that outlap as well, and it's just Ricciardo has no answer to the pace I have, which is so difficult. You know, yes, we went out at the start, but maybe thinking we could have got pole during there as Gasly on the hard tyre having a go at Russell, but Russell's able to keep the position. As I said, not entirely sure where the AlphaTauri is strongest. I'm sure we're going to be finding out in the coming races if they continue to upgrade the pace they have. It's a lovely move for Leclerc at Pouhon there. And Sainz, he's had a miserable afternoon, but he is going to make some overtakes now, up to P13 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So another bad race for Tsunoda, who hasn't scored points since he left AlphaTauri for Williams at the end of season 1 as well. But yeah, for us, it's a simple race. If this had been a 50% race, we would have been even further in front. 4.5 seconds to Ricciardo, but Leclerc of course got set as our driver decides to set just to brake and not celebrate as well. Lucky that Ricciardo didn't catch us there.
Absolutely fantastic. That is a brilliant result. Well done.
Thanks, Mark. I'll definitely take that one. We're going to be dominating the championship again.
Great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race for the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
This has probably been, of all the games that we've had, this is probably the game where I've been most dominant on, actually, which is surprising because the pace, for me, hasn't been consistent enough at times. You know, I haven't been consistent with the AI. I've had to load up and down it all over the place compared to the race strategy as well, but obviously that's where you drive the fastest car on the grid, which is McLaren. You know, obviously overdue a regulation change. We haven't had a regulation change at all in this career mode on the either the air or the sashes, so we're overdue one on that. You know, we might get all 4 departments. Anyway, Schumacher scored again. He's lost out to Verstappen in the end, but the two AlphaTauris, 5th and 7th, you know, has to have been left behind really in terms of development. Latifi, just no. P18 for him. So in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we have a 38-point lead over Sainz. Championship over. I'll have to wait and see. As well, it only takes one race for him to come back. Leclerc P4, but he's pretty much out of it as well. Russell jumps Norris after a poor race. Constructors is pretty easy. Ferrari Red Bull for 2nd place though. That's very interesting. That's hotting up as well. Mercedes Alpine can get there if they have consistency. To be fair, Norris did come through for P8 in the end, which, you know, that was a good performance with Verstappen P9, but Verstappen started ahead of Norris, so the Alpine does have some pace. It's just that they're not as fast. They're starting to lose touch on the top 4 teams. They need more upgrades for them. For us, 4th race win of the season. I don't think I've ever gone, as I said, been dominant. You know, I think I've set a new personal record for most Grand Prix wins in the career mode. So in total throughout the seasons. We're only in season 4 already, with a couple more seasons, well, hopefully at least to come. Next week will be Netherlands and then Italy. The Dutch Grand Prix will be an interesting one because the last time we went there it was a disaster. So maybe that's what Sainz needs to get himself back in the fray. He's only won 1 Grand Prix, but he's been, as I said, before this race he was very consistent. 5 P2s in a row, where my performance has been up and down based on tracks that, or whatever conditions have been happening. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I see plenty more F122 driver camera videos as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.